Perhaps you've seen them marching in parades or at events. You've got to smile, you've got to laugh, and you've got to admire how well they play. They're Oregon's own art marching band, March 4th. First, let's put them in context. In Oregon, we have our serious artists, composers, performers. But thank goodness we are blessed with some of the goofiest creative people on the planet.
La 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 la!
It's been my pleasure over the years to bring them to you.
I'm really scared.
Who says art has to be angry or pristine or full of angst? Oregon's creative maniacs du jour, March 4th, certainly do not think so. And although they do March 4th, their name is spelled F-O-U-R-T-H because their first performance was on March 4th, 2003.
As far as what kind of marching band we are, we're a small one, and I think we're so eclectic, I'm not really sure where to place it. Some people have used the word Fellini-esque, I mean, just because it's kind of surreal. I've gotten used to it, but you know, I have a hard time like stepping outside and looking at it objectively. Like, I've never seen this before. What would it look like if all these freaks just came barreling in, making all this racket?
We got home from Burning Man, and a couple people, Faith and Liana, myself and John, all kind of had the same idea at the same time. We're like, you know, let's have a marching band. It's like just a great folk tradition, and we sat down and had a meeting at a bar, had a bunch of beers, scribbled a bunch of notes, and then John and I started looking for people to play.
As a performer, I had been inspired by the Extra Action Marching Band in Oakland and really felt like Portland needed that same kind of vibe and that we had the energy to pull together. And I heard John say that, and I just stopped him and I said, John, we got to talk later. And we had already been talking about doing a stilt marching band. We'd experimented with ideas of playing kids' instruments, and we even had a name. We were going to call it the Pipsqueak Parade. And, but we didn't have all the musicians.
So we basically wanted to get together, combine the things that we do, the music, fire performance, the dancing, stilts, and more music to just have a good time.
Well, it was going to be sort of a one-off band, which is what John has really been doing for quite some time, is putting together bands for specific events. And this was just one of those events that happened to form a group of people that really loved what they did. And the idea was sort of, I'm building in the community for a while of wanting something large and spectacular.
What's the trick to dancing on stilts?
A lot of practice. Not being afraid of falling
and
helps.
Staying moving. That really is the key. You can't stand still on the peg stilt variety.
Or
yeah, exactly.
You can bounce there for a few seconds, maybe, you know, half a minute if you're really good, but you just got to keep stepping.
So you have to dance.
Yes.
The closest thing we have to March 4th is the Lions of Batucada, whom we've, of course, profiled on Artbeat. We all love them, and so does March 4th, but the Lions are a classic Brazilian carnival band, resplendent and thrilling. March 4th is funkier, not in the musical sense, but in the friendly sense of funky.
Our primary songs from the beginning were probably about 5 or 6 New Orleans tunes and a couple of jazz standards that sort of had the same feel. We're moving in the direction of writing our own material now, which is, I think, the really exciting thing for all the musicians in the band, is to be playing music that has more meaning to us personally. We're also doing a lot more variety of Eastern European stuff and some klezmer stuff, so we're diversifying quite a bit sound-wise.
Bunch of money to play this one song. Don't play Louie Louie.
Their practices are legendary to those living in this part of southeast Portland, where the streets run red with fire and loud with sound, sound, and more sound. Yes, they're kind of refugees from Burning Man, but they take their music and dance and all their merrymaking seriously. And it seems that the rest of Oregon has taken them to heart. On the day we shot them in action after their trip down funky Alberta Street, it was on to a black tie fundraiser full of high rollers and politicians at the Old Armory, the future home of Portland Center Stage in the Brewery Blocks. It's a phenomenon now.
Yeah, I think we're enjoying our window of being this crazy new thing that people have either heard about March 4th or seen them yet, and I guess I'm interested more in longevity as a real band.
You know, we've been together long enough to where the music's gotten really good. We've gotten really intimate with one another, and next thing we knew we were on stage and sounding pretty darn good. You know, it was big.
Yeah, it moved very fast. It moved like really, really fast. I don't think we did that much output. A lot of people came to us and just like saw it and like saw this phenomenon, and suddenly it was like, ooh, so unique and like amazing and interesting that people just called us right and left.
And now for a special moment in Oregon musical history. Many of the folks in March 4th and the Lions of Batucada are good friends. Andy Sterling, one of March 4th leaders, is a former member of the Lions. After the Armory gig, they knew that the Lions were performing at the Crystal Ballroom not far away. The Lions knew that March 4th was going to be in the neighborhood. March 4th decided to, well, March 4th to the Crystal Ballroom. But nobody could have predicted what happened when March 4th was marching west on Burnside and spotted the Lions marching east. It was awesome.
It was just so cool, just rounding the corner, seeing this like field of white drummers, and you're just like, yeah!
It was kind of like when you're in a foreign country and you happen to see an old friend walking down the street towards you, and it's the most exciting and wonderful feeling you can think of. Plus the fact that there are, 30 of those old friends and they're all playing music as well. That's a pretty phenomenal experience.